Kalimanari to everybody. Good afternoon and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much once again for coming through for this press conference. Thank you, Coach, for availing yourself and, of course, on the physical training side. Without wasting much time, Coach, the first game of the season, your first game in terms of the Premiership in Zimbabwe this coming weekend against Triangle. Just take us through the preparations.
Okay. Well, first off, very excited. Obviously myself being the coach, but I feel the energy from the players and from the remaining staff as well. This is what we work towards. Of course, this is what we work every day for. And I think also, you know, the absence of games and competitiveness for so long has kind of fed that hunger for everyone. So everyone's excited for the game. I can feel that, I can see that, which is good. You know, it's an opportunity to finally get back to those competitive levels and compete with other teams. So that's the positive side. In terms of our preparation, it's quite continuous, it's quite repetitive. You know, the way we work week to week will change slightly in terms of the opponent that we have and in terms of the strategy and how that might alter as well. But in terms of our preparation, we've just continued from day one when I arrived, and that's how we're going to approach this game as well, same manner. Great.
Any injuries to the squads?
At the moment, we've got a healthy squad. We do have 2 or 3 players slightly injured with our normal fatigue and a few knocks from training and from the preparation we've done so far. We've had a return, which is Diego, our player, who has returned just this week to training, but he's been injured since I arrived. So he will definitely still be on the list in terms of people that are not available for the game. But thankfully, you know, we've been blessed in the sense that we haven't had any major or serious injuries since I've been here. So we should be in good preparation for the game as well.
And in terms of the composition of your opponents, is there much you know, or you are still relying on what your lieutenants are telling you?
Yes, well, like always as a coach, you have to be as prepared as possible. Every detail will count in terms of our preparation and in terms of being successful in the game. As always, I will always, you know, rely on my remaining staff and the coaches I have with me here. It doesn't matter how long I'm here, they will always have a more in-depth knowledge of the game here, the teams here, the players here. So that's invaluable in terms of how I will prepare and assess and strategize for the match. I've looked at as much as I can with Triangle. To be totally honest, I think like every other game, there won't be any easy games in this league from what I see. Every game will be a battle, every point won will be a result of us having to be at our best. I think Triangle will be no different. We had the same sort of experience with Chicken in the Cup, which is the one official game I've been lucky enough to do until now. For that reason, you know, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't lost the last 3 games that they played officially as well, with 2 draws against Negezi and Platinum. They won their last game against Bulawayo, so that in itself shows the ability and the quality that they have. Their coach is someone well respected in this country also, so I expect the team to be very well prepared. I expect them to be a team that will come here and try and get the maximum points also. So we're going to have to be at our best if we want to be successful on Sunday. That's what we have to prepare for.
Maybe just for me to ask, please, if you can put our phones on flight mode or on silent, that would really help in terms of the recordings going on. And then maybe, Coach, the other element is you had a break after your obviously exit from Peru. Do you think that has helped in terms of preparations, in terms of time, without much pressure?
Yes, undoubtedly, due to the context, you know, that I'm in specifically and that the club are in specifically at this moment in time. I think we need time. You know, time is of value to us in terms of preparing the team. Most importantly, in terms of implementing the changes that we are both on and off the field. I said that, you know, when I spoke before the match with Chicken is change will take time. And what we are doing at the moment is quite a large change, you know, specifically looking at the way that we will play or the way that we want to play. It's completely different from what we've done in the past. So we have to use this time to our advantage. Like I did say earlier on, of course, the competitive element is very important. both for myself in terms of getting the taste of the football here, but likewise it's an opportunity for the players. It's an opportunity for them to show themselves, and it's an opportunity for me to be able to assess them, at this level and within this competitive context that they will be in. So we're looking forward to the competition because as coaches and as players, that's what we always want. But time for us is important now because the changes we're trying to make, we know cannot happen overnight. So we have to find that balance between the competition and the preparation as well.
Questions? Thank you.
Yes.
Follow up to what you've just said. What would then be your, you said before that this is a long-term project.
Yes.
What would be your immediate target?
Well, immediately in terms of the team on the pitch, it's being able for them to show in the matches now and in the Premier League what we work daily on the pitch. So it comes down to our game model, it comes down to our principles of play, it comes down to everything we are trying to change. I'm not here in any way trying to say what was done before was good or was bad. That's not my place to even have an opinion. I'm only concerned, if we like, or looking at the fact of since I've come in and what we want to change. And what we are changing is a drastic one in the sense of how we want to play and what our habits will be with and without the ball, how we portray ourselves in the transitions, etc. So my immediate objective in terms of the team is starting to see those things come out, starting to see the players with confidence and play the way that we want them to play. That's my main objective. That's what I will be the most happy with, seeing the team being able to do that on the pitch and in these games in the Premier League. Off of the pitch, it's creating a culture. It's creating what I call a club culture in terms of how we work every day, in terms of the elements and in terms of what we have around us, in terms of the working conditions, something that the club has been exceptional with in terms of providing support, whether that's on the physiological side, the nutritional side, but most importantly, it's turning everything that we are doing, modernizing it and turning it into as professional as possible. So those are the immediate objectives and something that we will continuously try and develop as time goes by.
To PJ, how's progress towards your desired setup from your own department?
Sorry, what?
How is the progress towards your desired setup from your department?
It's a very relationship with philosophy of Mr. Milton. One for me, create a structure for the team and the player. We can monitor and check all of the player. It's very, very general and normal in Europe. In general, this position in the Europe call it head of sports science, and many people work for this position and for this process. For example, monitor and check the GPS data, monitor and check with a lot of questionnaires, monitor and check for another device like HRV and etc. It is general, and I should to mention we have one coach, fitness coach, Mr. Abraham, and he's a very good coach and helped me during this process. And during this process, during the time we can planning and monitoring and checking all of the players daily, weekly, and monthly, and issue to have a good report and exactly report for Mr. Newton for better and understand for every section of the training. Daily, monthly, and weekly.
Any more questions?
Question. In terms of the football culture shock or change from where you are coming from to what is obtaining at the moment, how do you analyze the Zimbabwe type of football, judging by the number of games you have played in Zimbabwe?
It's different, of course. Not only different continent, country to country, it varies a lot. I think it comes down essentially to the characteristics of the players. When you go into those certain countries, comparing my own country, if I would want to compare slightly Portugal possibly to Zimbabwe, it's a little bit more technical, it's a little bit slower the game, that's the type of players we tend to develop and tend to have a little bit more of there. Here, from what I've noticed and from what I've seen, of course from the game I've been involved in, but also from the games that I've tried to observe, it's a much quicker game. Everything is very transitional. I had the opportunity to mention this after checking in as well. It's very direct, or very pragmatic, I guess is possibly the best word. Teams look to go forward very quickly. Teams don't tend to build or keep possession for very long. That seems for me to be one of the most evident kind of characteristics of the teams and of the games that I've been able to watch so far. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking very forward to the season starting, is to actually have that experience and see it in hand, live and in person. So I think, not necessarily a shock, but I think definitely the difference, or the biggest difference, is that one. I think the game is a much higher tempo in terms of how quickly teams lose possession, win possession, go forward, come back. A lot of the times the team kind of split themselves in two, half of the team attack, half of the team defend. That's something that I've noticed to be possibly the biggest difference in terms of the football that I've experienced more of. But that's something we have to adapt to. I have to adapt to that as a coach. I have to adapt to that as my team as well. And we have to find what the strengths and the weaknesses can be within the game.
Any more questions from the journalists that are here? We welcome those that have just come through. But maybe at this point in time, if we don't have any questions from the floor here, I know we obviously might have a question or two from those that are watching this live stream. Any questions that we're getting towards the coach?
Coach, which players are you looking to get the best out of this season?
Well, to be honest, I'm looking to get the best out of all of them.
All of them.
It's that's something that we work towards every day as well. That's a message that's given to the players every day. Also, is there's no player more important than the rest of the team. I can't get one player to play their best and win games. There won't be one player in the team that will win us the games. It's going to have to always be a collective effort. That will never come even from just the 10 or 11 that start the game. That will come from players that are able to get into the game from the bench and change it or continue to do the good work that's already done. So I can't individualize it, to be completely honest. I think we're trying to get the best out of everyone. We're trying to get the best, to create a strong team, and that's what will allow us to be successful as these games come in.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon to you, Coach Milton. I am Benuda from Bulawayo Media. My question is, what can your supporters expect from the team this coming Sunday? Thank you.
Well, like I've always said, and like I mentioned a little bit of now, I'm hoping what they can expect and what they will see is change. I'm hoping they will see a team that is very positive, confident, a team that will not, be afraid to play, a team that will not be afraid to take initiative of a game. That's what I'm hoping for. That's the message we've been getting across. That's the type of team we are building. Those are the type of characteristics that I want everyone to be able to see. Our fans and people who follow the football in this country. I want us to be looked at as a club who play a positive type of football, as a club that can promote a good quality of a type of football. We won't play well for 90 minutes every game. I don't think there's any team in the world that does. We will have moments in the game where we're under a little bit more pressure, but we have to learn to deal with those as well. But I'm hoping, and what the message that I would like to send to everyone is that they can expect to see a good style of play, a good quality of play, and good football. Essentially, that's what we want to promote.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Coach, how's the spirit within the team going to play the first game of the season?
I think it's good. To be totally honest, when I first arrived, I thought the group and the dynamics and just the overall feel in the changing room was positive as well. Of course, there's always a little bit of fear when a new coach comes in, especially someone who's come in from a completely different place or from very far. So I think initially there was that kind of general feel of what's he going to do, how is he going to work. And the changes take time, like I said, but I think players are adapting well. I think the idea, knowing that competition is coming back, is important for everyone. I think that's what we feed off of. I think that's why we are in football, is because we like to compete. We like to show, the level that we are at. So I think players are looking forward to it. I think everyone is quite confident in what we are able to do, not only in this game, but more importantly, throughout this entire season. You know, this game is not a final for us in no way. It will not dictate what we do or don't do in the upcoming weeks and months. It's 3 points like every other game will be. There's no extra pressure because it's the first game or my first game, or I don't believe in that, and I've told the players the exact same thing. It's just one more game. It happens to be the first one. We have to look at it as a great opportunity to finally get back and compete. That's what we all want to do.
Thank you so much. We are happy to be interacting with those on Facebook, on Twitter as well. We are appreciating the questions coming through, so if you can just go ahead, we'll take 2, 3 more from our public domain.
Okay, there is Chris Ngondo from Rwanda. Prince, first I would like to say well done. What I saw on our last game, Vessels Chicken Inn, was incredible. I believe you are the right man to deliver for us. Now my question is, are the Ninjas going to maintain that 5-star performance?
Started off well, but put a bit of pressure now, didn't it? No, thank you. That's a good question. Going back to that first game, I think there were positives to take from that. I think something that comes into that is the mentality, was the intensity, and was a little bit of the belief and the confidence I've already mentioned. I appreciate those nice words. Like I said, I've got confidence in my own ability, of course. When he says, you know, I'm the right man for the job, I believe in myself, but it is also the people that are surrounded, you know, that I'm surrounded with. It's the remaining coaches, it's the club, and its whole structure and the way they are providing everything that we need to move forward. So I have no question, you know, I'm with him 100% in terms of the confidence of us moving forward, the team getting better, and the club as a whole starting to attain the objectives that we've mentioned. Will we continue the 5-star performances? I hope so, you know, and we will work towards that every day. But of course I am conscious that we will not be perfect every time, we will not be perfect now at the start. But I will always expect and demand improvements, and that comes down to how we work every day. That's something that's already been implemented as that club culture, like I mentioned before. Every day we work the way we want to play. You know, we can't look at things otherwise. We have to train the way we want to play, and that's what we've been doing. So I'm confident that I can keep Prince happy, and that he will see good moments in the game, and that he will see performances and continue to move forward, and you know, we can keep him and all the rest of the fans happy as well.
Great. Any more questions? Thank you so much for interacting with us with Bulawayo Chiefs in terms of the press conference we had this afternoon. We will obviously be getting more press conferences as the league unveils, and if there is any more tournaments that are to be played. But we want to thank members of the media and of course our social media people that have been coming through with the questions. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, and God bless you until we meet again.